For this demonstration, we'll see how to edit web content using the Synapse Publisher Web Content Management System, and how to request approval for the changes that we make using the Synapse Publisher Workflow component. For purposes of this demonstration, we'll be using an Acme Computer Services website, the website of a fictitious company created by iData for demonstrations. The first thing I need to do in order to make content edits is to log into Synapse. The first screen that I see after logging in is the My Tasks screen, which shows me any workflow tasks pending my input. Those can be content approval or content update tasks, or user requests. I'm going to edit content, so I'll select Web Content Management and then Manage Web Content from the main Synapse menu. When I select Manage Web Content, I'm initially presented with a tree view of all of the content on the site. If I were not editing the home page and instead wanted to edit a page deeper in the site, I could drill down using this tree view and select the content that I wanted to update. Since I'm editing the home page, I'll just click that. When I click the home page, I immediately see all versions of the home page that exist on the site. In this case, there's only one. It was last updated on June 23rd and exists in US English. If other language versions existed, I would see those listed on this screen as well. If a draft or pending approval version existed, I would see those in the appropriate column. In Synapse, we don't edit live items. Instead, we will choose to create a new draft. Then, when we're sure that the draft reflects the changes that we want, we'll request approval for that draft. When I choose to create a new draft, I'm first prompted whether I would like to increment the version number or not. Version numbers are used to keep track of different editions of content, particularly on sites that use multiple languages. If I'm making a simple change, for example, creating a misspelling that won't affect translations and that does not need to be tracked as a separate version, I can choose to use the current version number. But since I'll be making some slight content changes, I'll choose to create a new version. I've created a new version, so that version now appears in the draft column for the home page. In order to edit my new draft version, I'll click it and then click Edit from the context menu. This brings me to the Add Content screen, the main editing screen in Synapse Publisher. The Add Content screen has three tabs across the top. The first of these, the Edit tab, contains just about everything I need to actually edit content. We see the item name, version number, the type of content, keywords, the menu text, which determines how the item will show up in Synapse Publisher's dynamically created menus. We see the body copy of the page, and then, depending on the particular site that we're working on, we may see some additional fields. For example, the page title, right column text, and a header image. I'm going to edit the body copy. The interface for editing content in Synapse is familiar and similar to many word processing applications. If I enter some text, I can then use standard functions like bold, italics, and underlining. I can also use the built-in spell check to make sure that I haven't misspelled anything. In this case, I meant to type by, so I'll correct my misspelling. Click Change. And I finished my spell check. One difference between the Synapse Publisher Editor and word processing programs is that the Synapse Publisher Editor can make use of cascading style sheet styles defined for the website. This is a good idea to ensure consistency across pages and sections of the site. I'd like my text to be red, so I'll select a style that formats the text as red. I'd also like to add a picture to make the page a little bit more interesting. So I'll use the Synapse Publisher Image Manager. I'll click the Image Manager icon, and then I can select an image that exists on the site. If I don't see an image I want to use, I can upload an image using the Image Manager as well. This eliminates the requirement to contact someone in the IS department to get them to move files around from one server to another. This looks like a nice image, so I'll insert that. But this is not how I want my image to show up. So I'll set image properties by right-clicking on the image and set its alignment. While I'm here, I'll give the image some alt text, which is always a good idea for accessibility and also for search engine optimization. When I'm happy with my edits, I can save and request approval. If I needed to make changes not directly to the content, but to how the content displayed, I could use the Publish tab. This tab lets me make changes to which display template to use, the effective and expiration date for content, and the URL of the item. By setting a human-readable, friendly URL, I can not only make my site easier for people to understand, I can also take an important step toward optimizing my content to rank well for internet search engines. I'll save my changes and preview them. I see my image and my new text. I'm happy with how these look. So I will request approval for my changes. I can select a priority for my request, request a completion date, and enter notes that I'd like the reviewer to see when they're reviewing my content. Now my content has moved from the draft column to the pending approval column.